She raises her violet eyes slowly and looks at you kindly, putting away her stylus. Outsider, she nods gently. I expect there's something only I can help you with. After a short pause, she clasps a hand on the desk. Let's hear it. Her accent is not as thick as that among the younger villagers, keeping a shadow of the years when the guild had tighter ties with the peninsula. But since she has no teeth, you have to think for a moment before you recognise some of the words. Okay. So, I'd like to get inside the watchtower standing on the eastern road. The village from Old Pagos is struggling with the plague and isolates itself from trade and travellers. I've heard about some necromancers in the north. Is it still north from where I am? I thought it was in the White Marshes. Surely it's south by this point. Did the village face any struggles with the bandits? I spend a lot of time travelling between places. Do you have any work for me? What can you tell me about the tunnel south from here? Have you seen Asterion recently? He's also a Roadwarden. And can you tell me about Gale Rocks and also Farewell? I think we should talk about the plague first, since this is what brought me to get in front of Severina. She looks at the perfumed man who's standing with an open mouth. You glance at the crossbow woman who has lowered her weapon. The head woman, still without a word, leans forward and rests her forehead on the back of her hand. Her guard tries to speak, but she looks at him with sorrow. Let me think, she states, and after less than a minute tells him to gather the council once your meeting is over. I say nothing. Okay, well at least they are aware of it. Do you struggle with the bandits? She looks at her guard, then around her. Have you noticed where we are? We're safe enough to fight a dragon, and if there are any bandits in our woods, they eat nothing barring timber and worms. Whenever we trade, we send groups of 10, 20 souls strong, enough to push away a few footpads. Okay, so they're not having issues either. How about Asterion? Have you seen him recently? She shrugs and reaches for one of the candles, casting better light on one of her smaller wax tablets. I know who he is, but I've only spoken with him a few times, and heard that he stopped visiting the village at the beginning of summer. If he was around, I would know about it. I would. You mentioned that you doubt a Roadwarden would simply ignore a head woman of such a large village, and she looks at the ceiling, chewing on her bottom lip. I don't know what you're trying to imply, she says with a tone that won't accept any discussion. I had as much in common with him as I have with you. I don't trust strangers with crucial tasks, and if a warden of any kind wants to demonstrate that they know what they're doing, I invite them to survive a year or two before they bark. I don't respond. My patience runs short, outsider. Severina gestures for you to pause. Are you sure other matters can't wait till tomorrow? There's something else we need to discuss. I spend a lot of time traveling between places. Do you have any work for me? I think we ask for work, because I really want to earn some coin and some trust. She runs her eyes over you, then frowns without as much as a hint of subtlety. Show me first that you're worth something. Work with our fishers. Find someone seeking a messenger. I don't need a stranger before autumn, when we'll trade for winter grain. Okay, so she's actually willing to let me talk to her about other stuff still, even though, her patience is running thin. Can you tell me about the tunnel then? I can tell you that the venerable digger Luno will tell you more about it than you want to hear, she will. Before the war, it used to be crossed every 10, 20 days. Enough for us to keep it garrisoned. But with how little use it has now, I'd be mad to ask any of our youth to throw themselves at the beasts that live there. She glances at an open pouch that's lying just nearby, with a few dragon bones sticking out of it. Her toothless grimace is hard to read. And don't offer me your services to merely get rid of the Awoken. I need long-term solutions, not violence, and sooner or later, another threat will take their place. It may just as well stay occupied. At least no vagabonds will take it over. Alright, if you say so. She observes you without a word, but her fingers are tapping on the table. The guard gives you a telling look. What about the watchtower on the Eastern Road? And then I think I'm out. She and the perfume guard exchange looks. Why would I give you a key? You mentioned that looking after roadside shelters is a part of your responsibility, and she smirks, raising her hand slightly. Ah, you don't say. We're not in old Pagos. One's duty means nothing here until a soul proves it can be trusted. Alright, see you later. I'm out. I'm looking for someone. I could still learn more about the wares this village has to offer. Oh, let me just go to the archive again. Who did he say I should talk to? Digger Luno. Digger Luno. Excuse me? Is Digger Luno here? Digger? The locals explain the centuries-old caves need a little work, and the humble fixes they put into the walls and sheds are taken care of whenever such a need arises. After a few minutes of chatting, one of the children leads you to an elderly woman responsible for looking after the condition of them buildings. The digger called Luno, already wrinkled, grey-haired and slightly stooped. She's resting at the eastern gate, placing tiny building blocks on the table, raising a tall tower without making it collapse. Her hands are steady and precise, and her large eyes blink so rarely that you want to rub your own. She spares you a look and leans back, resting against the walls, then crosses her arms and critically observes the toys. Cheers, stranger! I have time! I'd like to learn more about the tunnel that leads through the mountains to the south. I was told you are the one who looks after the local construction works. Farewell. I want to learn more about the tunnel. It's older than any human soul it is, but not ancient. Those who dug through the mountain were still around when I was but a small lass. The village saved everything it got from trade for more than a generation to bring the bronze gate from Hovlevin here. The pickaxes and all them tools and nails. It has a single long corridor that reaches from one end to the other, and a few chambers on both sides, where travellers used to spend a night if they were desperate enough. Don't try it without a group of guards now. Monsters also love deep caves, and the days are getting colder. How come it's locked in the first place? It depends on who you ask. Let's just say that a great turmoil happened 10 years ago, right? The settlements grew further apart, traded less. Traded less. Keeping a garrison of fighters and builders out of the tunnel brought little value. We had to put greater trust in our own work, not in the caravans, once again foraging, cutting trees, and farming. With time, more and more beasts gathered around the tunnel, getting used to seeing no pushback. She looks at an old plank that's been resting behind a stool. She compares its thickness with her toys, then reaches for a gouge and a handsaw. It was 3 years back when a few traders of ours went missing. Our searching group found the gate, locked from the inside. They tried to check it but left the place when they saw moving shells, dead and fleshless. We've decided to clean it someday in the future. Maybe hire a group of strangers to take the risk upon themselves. She glances at you. But so far none have reached our village. Okay, so she wants me to open up the tunnel. I told you the one that looks after local construction. That's pretty much it, right? She glances at the spread wooden blocks. Every few springs or summers I gather a crew to build something new, or rather replace an old hovel with something fresh. But most of the days I just make sure that the roofs don't fall on our heads, and that the cribbing in the caves ain't too moist. Then the coopers help me, or a bunch of fishers. She gives your axe a long look, then reaches for a smaller hatchet and shades one of her toys slightly, narrowing it. For centuries there's been merely one digger at a time, and this custom serves as well it does. Did your crew build that keep on the hill? It must have taken you many years. A digger is an unusual name for your trade, or I'm with the merchants. Do you have enough building materials for your needs? Better ask the coopers. They struggle with timber. The good thing about digging hills is that we always have enough stone. Our rocks are crude, but we don't need to sculpt. Just pile them on. She turns a few building blocks into a small wall. Did your crew build the keep on the hill? She looks in its direction. The whitewashed walls make it look brighter than many clouds. We started when I was only a teen, still learning from the previous digger. Her voice is full of pride. There used to be a humble watchtower there, with tents around it. Now we can all stay locked inside thick walls, but also shoot arrows from a wall, or a roof, and the windows. You ask her if the keep has ever been used by the locals in combat, and she suddenly grows disheartened. You would be surprised, you would. There are tales of dragons, pirates, and bandits, but all of those happened before the war. Those lands were different, though we can't exactly say how. A digger is an unusual name for your trade. And what would the usual name be in the city? A builder? After you shrug, Luno grasps one of the wooden blocks with a dagger. Like a dagger. Oh, floor bears used to, dig in the rocks, widening in the caves, and it was a name with great honour behind it. When I look around, she does so as to prove a point. It reminds me of our long path from hiding to thriving and on the surface. She can't hide a smile. Alright, see you later. Alright, who else do I want to talk to in this place? A bunch of kids laugh loudly to carry buckets of vegetables over the stone bridge, calling someone who may very well be minutes away from them. There was an inn here, right? What the hell was the inn called? Is it in my journal? Severina, notable jewelers, Luno. There were one. Inn? You search for an inn is futile, and the locals are quite proud that they have no place to waste their days with mugs and dice. They explain that if any caravan needs to stay the night, there's always enough space to empty ones of the caves. If you need a room to spend the night, you're told, Fulvia may have something. Alright, Fulvia? Hello. Following the instructions, you reach a building with an entrance from the garden side. You step through the door leading into the mouth of the cave and call the person you were told to speak with, Fulvia, the roomkeeper. She comes to you from the half-dark corridor. She fits the description you heard, slightly round, partially because of the tunic and heavy pants hidden beneath the dark green robe. She looks like an eccentric city priest, what with the massive hourglass made of perfectly polished driftwood she wears, and the kerchief covering both the neck and hair. One feature that hasn't been mentioned by the locals are her eyes, grey, asymmetrical, partially closed and unfocused. Once she gets closer, she turns her head, gazing into the rock and pointing her left ear at you. Her steps are confident and her hands keep touching the walls on both sides. She's old, wrinkled and pale, but her voice remains strong. Your first instinct is to nod, only then realising it won't help you much. She repeats, You smell of a horse. Room? Yes. Right. She simply walks down the corridor between the few humble chambers, some of which are inhabited by sleeping souls. After just a few steps, the light coming from the entrance helps you no more. You follow the sounds of boots and the smell of rosemary perfume, then suddenly hear a rock hitting something made of metal. The lit candle makes you sigh with relief. What colour? After a quiet moment, she tries again. The horse coat. It has white and black stripes. Shadowmane, do you want to be a zebra? No, Shadowmane, you have to either be black or grey. If it said dark grey, I think I'd go for it, but we'll go with black. A pause. The Grim Messengers. Must not be many of them left, she says slowly. I doubt many chiefs can pick and choose one beast for one task, and one for another. The room is far from comforting. The ceiling is only a head above you. The walls around it even, and bare of any decorations, and the only chest looks more like a crude crate. At least the dried grass is covering the sleeping pallet a bug-free and smell of freshness. You don't have to share it, she says with amusement. How much for this delight? She chuckles, still turned to you with her profile. Don't worry, you won't be cold, and we won't let anything mould in here. I have a nose for it. She demonstrates with a loud sniff. You can work for the village for merely a few hours in the morning, move some weights around, or you can pay me 2 coins. I won't take less. For I need none at all. I'll just throw it to Severina's chest in a few days. Okay, I leave the cave. So we have somewhere we can sleep now. And we would have to do some work in the morning. That seems very reasonable, honestly. I could still learn more about the wares. Okay. We are looking for a merchant. A young carrier chuckles. And what would you buy without a wagon and donkeys? We sell barrels of fish, sacks of salt. When a caravan comes, we empty a warehouse, then fill it up again with food. When you ask her if she's sure there's nothing useful that a lone traveller could get in such a large village, she seems a bit embarrassed. Well, we have a weaponsmith, but he doesn't sell any blades to outsiders. But maybe Rufina, the tailor. Alright, Rufina. You get the direction to one of the smaller buildings, which turns out to consist of only one spacious chamber. Like other caves in the village, it lacks sunlight, but the workbench standing right next to the entrance is well lit by an oil lamp. The old iron lantern is decorated with the shapes of seaweed and monstrous tentacles. On the counter you see threads, scraps of cloths, clothes even, old tunics and some boots. Behind it there's a mature woman, though you can't precisely guess her age. The flame dancing because of your movements distorts the shadows cast by her wrinkles and large nose. Her bright red tunic is light, made of something lighter than hemp or wool. The sleeves end at her elbows, allowing her hands to sew together 2 pieces of fabric. God, a lot of old women who seem to be running this place right now. But we did see children outside. I was just worried that, the birth rate is too low to sustain life. Greetings, by the way. She runs her dark yellow eyes over your clothes. Her hair may be getting grey, but the colourful wooden beads amongst them distract you right away. Cheers, stranger. You need something patched up? After you nod, she looks deeper into the store. Good, as I'm better at fixing tears than making togs. Take a look. Inside, while there's plenty of shelves and cupboards covered with pants, tunics, jackets, robes, hats, boots and bags, many of them seem old, or made from 2 or 3 pieces combined. We buy outfits from other villages, explains the tailor, maintaining her bored tone, and as they get worn and damaged, I turn them into something new. You have anything for sale? My neighbours walk in and put on whatever they feel like wearing, but I ain't wasting our fabric on outsiders. Maybe you'd like some jewellery. When you mention you'd rather take something useful for a traveller, she hesitates. Well, if you really need, I can pack you some old tools of mine. They'd help you fix your armour and togs without anyone's help, though it ain't as easy as you'd think. Right, let's discuss the prices. So, my outfit needs no work. She can patch up my jacket for a gold piece. 9 gold we can get a gambeson repair kit, that seems very useful. A sewing kit, and we can also buy a winged hourglass. That might be really useful, honestly. Maybe that would make the people at Old Pagos more favourable to me. I actually think I'm going to buy this. It does take me to 0 gold again. Oh, 0 dragon bones. But I'm content with that. Wares? You learn that the locals craft mostly in winter and only work on the things they need for themselves. The only year-long artisans are the carpenters and coopers, but even they produce almost exclusively barrels. How about the cooper then? The coopers and carpenters in general have their space at the edge of the village, separated from the saltery with a stone wall that catches the shavings before they reach the fish, and which are then swept into a pile and moved into the smokehouse. You walk between the 4 woodworkers while the last one, a young woman, with an apologetic smile, leaves the thatched store. She's wearing a heavy, worn robe, half brown, half yellow, covered with dust and wood chips, and carries under her arm a stack of willow withies. 2 small seashells, in many shades of orange, are hanging from her ears. Stranger, we need space here. I was hoping to learn a bit about your work. I'm from Hovleven. With a sigh of relief, she approaches an unfinished barrel, whose staves are getting pressed together with a dense cage of weaved withes. In the city, the coopers would use old iron hoops, which would take less than a 20th of the labour. She drops her delivery and touches your shoulder with her large, strong hand. So the guild wants to speak trade again. Very well, alright. Very well. Let me show you around. I'm Domitia, the head carpenter, I guess. She states with hesitation, and one of her workers mockingly snorts. Your guide laughs in response. Shag an eel, idiot. The small crew laughs as well. I smile as well. Her teeth are mostly yellow but straight. My predecessor lost his eyes to a harpy a few days back, so I'm new to this role. But don't worry, I know what I'm doing. She confidently straightens up. Right, we have two types of work. Barrels and everything else. On good days, we make a barrel. On bad days, we fail. She laughs. But that's fine. We can always get it done after a good sleep. She goes into greater detail and your eyes start to wander between the benches, pieces of cut wood, mallets, axes and shaving tools. Noticing this, she nods towards the other workers. When the barrels are resting or bending, we do other things. But only for our farmers, builders and fishers. Navica is the most experienced of us, so she makes boats, paddles, right? Responsible tasks. The tiny woman she points at doesn't even raise her eyes. We sometimes make furniture, we do, but merely when something breaks. So the barrels are the most important. Do you have enough wood for them? Not really. We use oak, beech and pine, but staves have to rest for 3 years. Sometimes 2, sometimes 4. Every day I bring 14 staves and 2 headers here, and we replace them with new ones. We're careful with what we have. It's hard to plan years ahead. She gives you a warm smile. You need to talk about it with my neighbours first, but maybe the guild would like to provide us with timber. We'd rather barter than lock the coins in the keep, you see. The guild won't move wood from their own stalls so far to the north, but they may help you set up a new hamlet or find you a partner who lives close to the Hag Hills. Right. It would need to be someone outside of the peninsula. Here everyone cuts only for themselves, they do. Even those jesters from creeks. We used to have a camp of lumberjacks, but now our warehouse gets emptier every day. For a bit you discuss with her the value of wagon filled with logs or planks, but the discussion leaves your area of expertise quickly. You simply promise to get the message to the merchants, and Domitia wishes you a safe journey. I take one more look around and leave the workshop. Alright, well... Great. Who was the other person, sorry? Can I speak to Navica? Navica. Navica is the best boat maker in the north, says a young boy with a proud posture. Come, I'll take it to you. The carpenters have their space at the edge of the village, separated from the saltery with... Yeah, we've seen this. A tiny woman keeps a distance from the other workers, partially because of the many bits and pieces she needs constantly at hand, as well as logs, steamed planks, and a boat keel only a few steps away from her. She must be at least 40, older than any other woodmaker in sight. Her light brown hair is in a ponytail. Letting her work, and the simple tunic and pants made of hemp in 3 shades of red have short sleeves and legs. Her tan skin is dark like honey. She glances at you from afar and turns away, cutting some sort of log without a pause, as if hoping you won't notice her. The massive broadaxe made of fine steel looks even larger as it's resting on her back, and it's engraved with the shape of a toothed eel twisting into a spiral. The kid leaves you alone and you're standing in silence. I've heard you make boats. Yep, I make boats. She doesn't raise her eyes. I walk away. Tremendous. What a great talk. So there's more wares apparently. I like these little tips. I could learn more about the wares this village has to offer. How about Fisher? You're told that the Fishers spend long hours at the beach in the north, and can be found in the village only during the very early or very late hours, unless the weather makes fishing too dangerous. Is this basically it then? Is this all I have to point at right now? I'm trying to remember anything else that's been mentioned to me, but I just don't remember. Yeah, I just don't think I've got anything else I can do right now here. I don't know who else to ask about. I mean, Smith? The outer armory is right next to the eastern gate, but you're led behind it through the fenced gate to the training grounds. You're introduced to Tatius. I think I'm Tatius at the moment, honestly, with my hair and an old shirt. A muscular man who's walking in just his pants, displaying his muscular chest and arms, tanned and hairy, and his dusty, dirty feet. His teenage pupils gathered on the trampled ground also wear no boots and wear old, torn tunics, with marks of blood and scratches both on their clothes and skin. The man is looking through a few toy weapons gathered in a barrel, a wooden sword, a few spears with their tips wrapped in rags, and similar looking clubs. After your arrival, the man throws a spear to one of the younger kids, tells the others to get him like mad boars, and soon after that you hear painful thud and cheerful laughter. He then offers you vivid red cherries, maybe the last ones this season. He may just be over 30 years old, yet his wide shoulders, unusual height, and straight posture makes even his kindest words sound like a threat. You need something from me, Roadwarden? I'm looking for better equipment. Then you came to the wrong village. We don't sell anything we've stored in our armory. We need those things for ourselves. When you mention Dragon Bones, he looks away at the fighting kid and orders them to divide into two teams, letting the assaulted spearman rest for a bit. And what am I supposed to do with dragons? Buy blades? His chuckle while fake is loud and moves his chest up and down. After you insist that you may want to think if there's nothing for an axe user such as yourself to find here, he puffs out his cheeks, thinking as he exhales. You know what? Come take a look. And he looks at his teens. A few minutes of rest. Don't lose any eyes. You go back to the armory door, and after a few breaths, the man shows you a kite shield, so large it could cover half your shell with ease. It's a gift we received, but we don't use such a shape. It's too weird for us. You can buy it if you wish, or maybe you'd like to grab some quarrels if you have a crossbow. We have enough of those. Right, let's discuss the price. I would like a shield, but obviously we have no money right now. I step away. Okay, Tatius is now on the thing. There's still more wares that we could learn about. The only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is... where's my inv? Maybe there's alchemical ingredients. So, can I search for alchemy? Since the village has no forest garden and almost no foragers, there is no local tradition of potion making. You're told to ask Foggy about her own alchemy set, which she used to brew ciders, distill hard drinks, sure. I talked with the local coopers, but I could still learn more about the wares this village has to offer. What else could they offer me? I feel like I'm dumb. I feel like I'm missing something very obvious. Alright. Shall we go further up to the north? Pass through the Gale Rocks? So there was no inn. There is a rest place. I'm just trying to look at other places. Oh, is it food? Is that the thing I'm missing, maybe? I kind of just associate it with a tavern, but... Oh, maybe bath. Hang on a sec. The steep banks are damp, so you head upstream to the wooden bridge, but you can hardly reach any water with your fingers there. You consider getting undressed, but a sudden voice behind you tells you to quit it. This current is strong. It'll catch you and bam! The man swings his arm. You'll crack your skull against the rocks. He points downstream. He's a large person with heavy boots that are dirty from mud and a necklace made of colourful shell, as large as your hand. He approaches you holding a few empty buckets, each one attached to a rope. He places them on logs and crouches down, filling the bucket one by one. I ask him about washing myself as well. He frowns. What are you, a child? What's your name? After you introduce yourself, he gives you a gentle nod. I'm Aquila. We bathe in tubs, right? I have warm water in the shed. He directs your eyes at the boulder next to the path, though it in no way resembles sheds that one would find in the city. He straightens up and carries the buckets up to the bank, one by one. Either help me carry water around the village for a few hours to pay me, if you're lazy enough. I'll make you a fine bath and wash your togs. He places the last bucket next to the boat and you notice that another man is already taking one of them to the eastern gate. I could also sell you a bottle of perfumes, though it won't be of much use if you have no soap. He grins with his yellow teeth, as if there's a punchline hidden in the words. We pick flowers of roses, violets, lavender and cherry. Good for the hair, ears and wrists. Just don't drink it. So, okay. Oh, we can work for 2 hours to get some bathing. My appearance is like in the negative right now, so we will do that. Perfect, my appearance has improved. Excellent. Great, thank you. See you later. The Bathman, Aquila the Bathman. It's like a superhero. I'm Aquaman. I'm Superman. I am Bathman. What, Batman? No, Bathman. What is your strange and unique power, Bathman? I can make water moderately warm. And I can make it bubbly like a jacuzzi. I'm Bathman! Okay, where are we going now? How long? 4 hours till dusk. There's still some more wares the village has to offer. I guess jobs, maybe? A young fisher with a broken arm mentions that her overseer, Photios, was planning to make a trip outside of the village. Maybe he could use your help. Photios. You're told that the fishers spend long hours at the beach. Let's go to the beach. In the north and could be found in the village only during the very early or very late hours. Unless the weather makes fishing too dangerous. Oh my god. Okay, let's go to the north then. Let's see the fishers. The roars of the sea reach you first, then the cold wind and the light. There are hardly any shrubs nearby. Okay, that wasn't too long a journey, by the way. And as you ride downhill toward the white and gold beach, the sunbeam hit you with full force. The sea here is not like the one from Hovlason's port. The harbour and waters most people see during their busy days are full of life. Ships, warehouses, traders and dockers. And of course, there's a sickle. The barrier island. Oh, there's sickle. The barrier island that provides the city with its lagoon. Also serves as a home to dozens of species of birds, monkeys and rodents. For most people, the sea is never silent. But if one travels to Sickle and looks west, or embarks on a boat and sails away, there's yet another view, a very different one. The never-ending blue, the emptiness, the humming waves, the monsters swimming to the surface just to take a breath, not even interested in the wooden vessels. Many say that if one jumps off a ship with a heavy stone, they will drown before they touch the seabed. Here, however, the water can't be separated from the rocks that it cuts through it, like a swarm of mushrooms in a dark forest. Their shapes and sizes vary, but it's their number that makes them unusual. If you were to name each one, you'd have to make up at least half of the names. There's no doubt where the name of Gale Rocks comes from. The stones piercing through the surface of the water are shaped like beast fangs, as if they're asking the ships to dare and test their strength. Where it's possible, I keep to the greener parts of the beach. Sand is awful for hooves. You follow the sharp turn to the right. The road remains broad enough for carts and wagons, and avoids the sand, letting Shadowmane trot without disturbances. The grasses to the east and south are short, and hardly any shrubs have managed to oppose the harsh winds. The human activity you witness is intense. A large barge is resting on the river, immobilised by the ropes and wooden posts. And you see a few people foraging at the beach and the grasses. Even more people, most of them without wrinkles, are gathered at the pier where they clean and fix their boats and nets, and talk about their plans for the evening. You reach the end of the beaten path, getting to the stone-made pier, just next to a small dolmen-shaped shed. Only the door seems to be fairly new, and you don't doubt that both the structure has been repaired many times in the past, crumbling under the touch of the waves. I'm not gonna lie, these dolmen look unbelievably dangerous. Like, if one stone just, goes out of shape, pushes the wall over, does that huge slab of stone just crush you to death? It kind of just looks like a crush trap to me. Anyway, let's potentially head to the fishers. So we've reached the coast. Cool. I also got an achieve there, pop, for reaching the coast. You approach a group of workers standing in front of the shed. Photios is there, one of them tells you, and points at the tallest man, dressed in undyed wool and linen. He's discussing something with a group of workers, but as you head in his direction, he nods for you to come join him by his side. His outfit is heavy, appropriately so for someone who spends long hours under the hit of the cold onshore winds. I've just remembered I need to get a fish from here, don't I? The massive leather boots. Was it from Photios? Sorry, one second. Let me just check this while I'm thinking about it. Where's my quest sheet? Where is... I need to find a fish. Emperor's Carp. It's Photios. Perfect. I'm accidentally doing the quest. Where was I? The massive leather boots, thick tunic and pants, and heavy cloak now held under his arm make you wonder if he'd be even able to swim. Like most sea folk, he has long limbs, almost no facial hair, and ears so flat they are hardly noticeable. His neck draws your eyes. It's covered with marks left by the burning suckers of a sea monster. As wide as your finger is long. Below these scars he's wearing a pendant made of a fish-sized black beak. He speaks first, with the strong and confident voice of a young man, no older than 25. We don't really sell any catch on our own. Maybe ask our smokers or the cook. Okay, so smokers and cook are probably the other things we should look for. That's fine, I was hoping to speak with you. And who are you exactly? After you introduce yourself, the man raised the corner of his mouth in an angry grimace. I won't have much to tell you, Roadwarden, like my neighbours. He looks at the nearby fishers. I struggle with day-to-day living. I do, not adventures, and even less so outsiders' schemes. I was sent here by an old druid from the south. He claims you owe him a male Emperor's Carp. What? I owe nothing to that old fool. I can have it here tomorrow if you want, but better have coin with you. I need to ask someone to look for it with a net, and that'll take hours. Great. I have to buy it, apparently. Do you have any work for me? Work? What do you know about fishing? You mentioned the docks of Holden, but after a few questions about fishing nets, boats and winds, it's clear that you don't impress in this conversation. Teaching one how to work with us takes time, effort, and rescuing those who fall overboard. You ain't a kid of ours, so if anything, it should be you who pays us for sharing what our forebears have mastered. You explain that you can fight better than most, and that gives him an idea. Our guards stay at the village, so we always move in groups, and waste time securing the beach from harpies and saurians. We do. We could put 3 more souls on the boat and keep you on the beach. You'd guard those not fishing with nets. What's in it for me? How much do you want, stranger? He responds carefully and you spend a few minutes discussing the details. Right, you'll get a meal and 2 coins for a peaceful day, and another one for putting your life at risk, he summarises. But you must be at the beach soon after dusk, while we're repairing your boats, and have enough strength to convince me you'll be more than help in a bother. Are you sure you don't need help with something that would fit my skills? I spent many hours on the road. It gives you a long look. You know what, outsider? There's something you could do for me. You can't really ruin it by trying. You need to help my daughter, Phoebe, Seeing your look, he raises his hands. Don't worry, she's fine. Merely spellless. For generations, my family used Numa to lure fish and hold her breaths, but no matter how much she practices, she can't cast even the tiniest spells. There's something wrong with her soul. He pauses and his voice grows pained. She's my only child, and I seek no new wife. I want her to have the choice to do whatever she wants, and it breaks me to think she won't have a way to follow in my footsteps. I don't know how I can help you. His eyes are absent. A few years ago, our traders were at the home of this weird enchantress on the Eastern Road. I don't want her name. I don't know her name. She lives close to the old watchtower. You can't miss it. If she's alive, she may have these weird rocks. Spirit rocks, I think. They help weaken mages. Buy one, bring it here. Maybe eating some Numa will help Phoebe learn. You forgot to mention my payment. I'm not a drifter. I don't hoard any savings. We gather everything in the keep we do. A spirit rock should cost about 10 coins. Since it's quite a journey from here, I'm ready to pay almost everything I've got. 15! I'll tell you when I've got it. Alright, see you later. You lead Shadowmane back to the road. Knowledge. I spent some useful time looking through the pieces of driftwood. They could be useful at the alchemy table. 100% do that. You stay close to your mount, observing the disorder of rocks, dead plants, and animal remains that are coating the sand. The pieces of wood with their forgotten stories of foreign lands and sunk ships are gathered in short stacks. You approach the largest pile and push all the sticks, boughs, and branches aside, sparking displeased shouts of worms, crabs, and other beings that used to live amongst them. You find the piece you were looking for, which is unlike the others, not too thick nor too long, and with a few little chunks of wood coming out from only one end, like a bunch of fingers. You nod with approval, reciting in your head part of the withered dust recipe. Fuel with an ocean, wood in the shape of a flower. Fantastic. We found flower-shaped wood. So this is withering dust. I once get any cleaner in the ocean. Okay. Well, I guess we're going back to Gale Rocks. We only have 3 hours till Betty Bows. And we can get back to Foggy's Lake, but I'd rather rest here, honestly, in the big stone sanctuary. And I probably will do their job for them. What are we on time? Day 6, so tomorrow will be day 7. So at some point I need to get back to Foggy's, but it looks like... I think my next port of call might actually be to try and get to this Enchantress, but it does scare me a little bit. But we can go via Foggy's and maybe make the... what it is called? The Weakening Dust? Okay. Travel back to Gale Rocks. Yeah, 15 minutes, that's no time. The workers are now resting, preparing themselves for the arrival of the fishers, while the younger locals still have to move wares and tools between the buildings. Wherever there's a table or a bench, there are people feasting on roasted fish and fresh fruits, and the smell of herbs burns your nostrils. The youngsters are focused on their play, overseen by the elders, but even they seem to have little energy left. The laziness covers everyone like a fresh blanket. Some of the locals slow down to observe you, but whenever you meet their eyes, you find a challenge, not amity. Okay, what was it? The cooks, right? You don't find them or I can't understand you. Alright. What was the other thing you said? It was the cooks and the... Where are you? Smokers! That's it. While fish are being smoked at any fireplace you find, the dedicated smokehouse is at the edge of the village, close to the saltery, but far enough to save the locals from some of its smell. You exchange a few words with the workers, learning that salting takes place mainly during nighttime, after the fresh fish arrive, and the smoking occurs all day long, above torch shavings, without much supervision. Smoked fish stay fresh for longer than you think, unless you take them outside. Then the rotting starts after merely a few days, so only seldom to closer villages. Salted fish last for seasons, but you have to rinse them rightly in a stream, or they'll burn your mouth with all them salt. As you observe the workers, most of whom seem either old or tiny, or hindered by past wounds, you notice how stiff their fingers seem to be, covered with cuts, making you wonder how much salt gets into even the slightest of scratches. Yet they talk with ease, spending most of their hours gathered in the square, chatting face to face without care, not saying a word about the smell and the sight of the scaled, gutted and boned creatures that surround them. You ask about the price of their barrels of fish and the way they are transported, learning that flour and other supplies are worth more to the locals than dragon bones. Okay. After a few minutes you exchange goodbyes, trying to memorize details useful for the city guild. While there are always fresh fish available in Hoffelven, having a secure supply of preserved meat would be worth many coins during a stormy or frozen days. Okay, and I think the last thing now I can think of is saltery. As you observe the workers as smokery and saltery, most of them either seem, okay, it's just the same thing, but not the full spiel. Sorry, that's enough for now. Apparently there's still more to learn about this village. I think, though, it's time to wait until the late evening and we're going to sleep. Sleeping at a house. An elder allows you to spend the night in crude conditions. In return, she requires an absurd payment or half a day's worth of your labour. Oh, shoot. I thought I might be able to get away with just, you know... Can I just... Oh, shoot. I don't have the money to stay in. I don't have half a day's worth of labour to give her because if I do that, I can't do the fish stuff. Okay, let me go to Foggy Lake then. I'm going to have to rest here again. I hate sleeping here. I'll sleep on the rug. The rains once again hit the ground, interrupting your sleep. Another day of bloody roads. Alright. Since I'm here, can I look at the alchemy set? Sharp point, withering dust. God damn you! I need a dragon bone, and I need a bog friend. All right, see you later. Let me go back to the pier then. Step away. Sorry. Outside. Travel. Pier. 3 hours. I approach the pier. I head to the fishers, help with fishing, work for 2 or 3 coins. It's going to cost me 2 foods. I'll do it. Oh, I got hit, I think. A flock of harpies tried to distract your companions to get some of the open barrels of fish, but your group managed to fight them off. Still, as the frontline fighter, you took a few serious scratches and bites. At least you receive a fresh roasted fish with a bowl of cold veggie stew, and an extra dragon bone for your efforts. Did you catch the Emperor's cart, by the way? Right, and a few of them, but most of them are females. He approaches a nearby shed and brings you a bucket, covered with lids that are held by hemp cords. Holy shit, that took so long, by the way. He lets you hold it for a bit. It's heavy in its weight shifts, as if it's filled with water. You'll need to deliver it quickly, or it's going to choke itself to death. Or die of hunger. I'll tell you when I'm ready to take it. Right, see you later. God damn it, I don't think I've got the time to... Yeah, I can't get back to this guy. I need 9 hours! Oh, and muddy roads, of course. Can I wash in the ocean? I can. Perfect. The water is freezing and you're done. So that makes you wait for a while before you dry up enough to put your clothes back on. Your unpleasant touch of salt covering your skin will travel with you. Brilliant. Man, I've kind of just... Not wasted a day, but... Kind of wasted a day, I guess. Foggy takes me 3 hours to get back to, because I have to detour around this old tunnel. Well, this is the quickest day I think we've had. Because I'm going to have to sleep again now, 15 minutes before dusk. And I'm not renting again. Or actually, hang on a minute, maybe I'm renting, because my health is running a little bit low. Actually, we'll rent. We'll sleep in the attic. The shivers wake you up. Foggy is standing by an open door, letting the dense fog in, with her back lit by a lantern. While she breathes slowly, her eyes are keenly observing the area, and after you focus, you hear the distorted shouts of roaming saurians. Fogs tend to get more common in late summer, but the tribes of the Dragonwoods often see them as a bad sign. The wild spirits they carry are believed to impact both the visible and the invisible, and not in ways that help humankind. If there are any undead in these woods, the fog will strengthen them. That seems really bad for me. Okay, outside, we're off. Get to the pier. We have a long journey ahead of us. Approach the pier. What? What? Where are they? Where are the fishers? Life is slowing down as you look around. Many of the villagers gathered at the western bank, preparing for a meal or a prayer. Only the youngest workers remain at their posts, maintaining the most crucial tasks, such as adding fuel to the flames. The guards are spread outside of the gates, watching the area carefully. Some of the locals slow down to observe you, and when you meet your eyes, where are the fishers? Photios. What? They're not here, though. Wait. Have they had bad times? Or have I got here too late? Okay. Right, I need the Emperor's Carp. My price is the same. Fine, I'll pay him 1 dragon bone. See you later. We're not watching anymore. 7 hours to get to the Elder's Cave. Let's do it. The family of deer you met some days ago had returned to the pond, this time accompanied by more members of their pack. One buck towers over all the others, with antlers as large as your palfrey. It takes a few steps towards you, shaking its head. You better stay where you are. You observe their curious, lazy glances, while the adults quench their thirst. The young ones are playing in the tall grasses or basking in the middle of the road. It takes quite a few minutes before the large beast orders the others to head back into the woods. Its bellows like a falling boulder. I just wait patiently. There's no reason to get frustrated over this. It's like being in a traffic jam. Getting annoyed is not going to do anything. Right. 2 ibexes, a male and a female, are lying on the rocky mountainside. A gentle wind is brushing their fur. The old druid is resting on the bench and welcomes you with a new interest in your voice. Words of the help you've shown to my neighbours from Howler's Den have reached me, traveller. Good, very good. Right, I'm always ready to do the right thing. He grunts vaguely. I've brought what you asked for. He looks inside the bucket quickly, then gives you a big smile. Now I'm in your debt, traveller. Let me know if you need a healing touch. He closes the bucket again and puts it on his bench. Right, I bring you some old pagos. A terrible plague has fallen upon them. His eyes widen. What did you say? A plague? You tell him everything you've heard about the symptoms. He attentively observes your lips and sometimes asks you to clarify some details, though you usually don't know how to answer him. He finally nods, then turns away and approaches the garden beds, lost in his thoughts. You wait in silence. He speaks after a short break. There's nothing I can do. His words are trembling. He's pissing me off, and that's it. Are the druids really that useless? Or is there anything I can do? Also, I could also say you have blood on your hands. You do not have blood on your hands. That's a crazy response. He strokes his beard and examines your equipment. Maybe. You can help me cast a spell of great power, but it will take much. You would need air, and you'd have to give up a grand reward. 'Tis a quest for a hero, near messenger, and there are nae heroes. You underestimate me, I'll show you what I'm made of. Before you finish, he turns away from you and looks at the falling water. Then listen, help me awaken Beholder, the good totem from the swamp. You've already passed its altar in the crossroads, north from here. It needs to be fed, and it only feasts on spirits. The pneuma held in human blood, the magic locked in items. Offer them and it will answer your call, but 'tis a hungry being, and it will need be nurtured by a single gift. Who knows how much it wants? He carries on without pausing, as if he's speaking from memory, but let it grow, and it will reward you. Take its holy seed, and bring it back to me. I'll enter the village, and through the totem's power, I'll replenish my strength, and keep the pneuma before it leaves the lungs of the humans. He stands in the same spot for a few breaths, and finally looks back at you. So I need to offer magic to the altar. What must we do next? Tell me more about this seed. It sounds like you're trying to push me into some dark magic, old man. Do you have anything I could give to the altar? I'm not going to ask for something in return now. My return is that I can go to Old Pagos and get more jobs. I'm expanding my consumer base. Anything I could put on the altar? Oh my god, he gave me a spirit rock. The guy's a legend. I don't need to go to the Enchantress. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. His blue eyes are kind. He reaches into a pouch that was previously hanging from his neck. I can say I trust you, but I want to believe you'll prove to be honest. Take this. As he reaches out, you see a flat, bluish pebble lying on his open palm. You could go to any stream and find hundreds of rocks like this one. There's a gift I received a few years back. A rock filled with pneuma from Eudocia, the Enchantress. Once put it in one's mouth, it brings back the strength of one's exhausted pneuma, or kills you, if you're near spellcaster. Put it on the altar and it will help you feed it. Oh, do I have a choice here? Can I either put it on the altar and give it to the daughter of the fisherman? Okay. What do we do after the magic? When you deliver the seed to me, we'll leave, though we'll need time to get to Old Pagos and back. 'Tis a long road for a shell of my years, but the totem's gift will keep me strong. Okay. Fine, I have everything I need. Have any hunters from Creeks visited you recently? Here, in the opposite corner of the peninsula. Most people do not have a beast to carry them for miles, stranger. His playful tone suddenly gets worried. Or did their struggles with meat get so grim that they ever considered such a dangerous trips? He takes a deep breath and leans back. How can he force beasts to jump under one's blade? The forest would need trust me anymore. We're not hurt, we don't want to claim a reward. Honestly, you've done fantastic work. So how long have I got left till dusk? 4 hours, and we're going to have to do the hunt tomorrow. So it's 45 minutes there, it's 2 hours here. Can I get to the Pelt of the North? I want to go to the Pelt of the North and then back to Howler's Dell. But I feel like I can't, because it's 2 hours from here, which makes me think that this will be like 2.5, 3 hours. But I've got the rock now, which they asked for the Enchantress to get. So I can't help but think maybe this is the same one. Maybe she has multiple. Maybe we do have to go see this Enchantress. I really want to get back to the Pelt of the North. I tell you what though, if we're deciding next episode that the plan is actually to go around the East Path, risk a life, then maybe we do go back to Howler's Dell, try and get as much money from, what's she called, like the head woman from Howler's Dell. And then maybe we go to Pelt of the North, talk about, stuff there, and then head round this East Path. It scares the hell out of me though, because we have nothing. There's equally a part of me that wants to go to the White Marshes first, I think that would basically be the last place that is a major settlement here. There are the Hag Hills, which I'm still not entirely aware of where they are. But it doesn't seem like it's a major settlement. So I think if we could get to the White Marshes and try and find some more alchemical ingredients, because that's really what I want. My worry right now is if I go on this path, all I've got is ointment. And have I got a healing potion? I don't know if I've got a healing potion. So let me go back to Howler's Dell. I think I might need to do some more exploration first. And we need to go to the creeks anyway by day 9, so I guess I can't go to the east path right now. It just has to wait a second. Okay, ask the guard to look for the mayor. Where is the mayor right now? Five spares you but a harsh glance. Yes. I bring news from Old Pagos, the villager stricken by the plague. For a few breaths, she doesn't even blink. So close to us. A plague? How? She adjusts her cape and calls the guard with a gesture. Tell the others to gather by Ape Ale, she tells her, then looks back into your eyes. I'll pass on the news once we're done here. We have to close the gates, maybe keep strangers away. Oh. She starts to tap her on a deer buckle. At least we can make some preparations. Thanks to you, good wardening. She says with little conviction, but you should also speak with our druids. They may have more questions for you. The guard returns and the mayor sends her away again. Warn Elpis. She must speak with Andalono soon. Oh, I can speak to Elpis now. She wants me to learn about the raids in the north, but I don't really know anything else. News about other parts of the peninsula. The forest garden on the edge of the bogs is now mostly abandoned. I see, but that place is so far away from here we can't properly guard it. Not without a hamlet. I need to think it's worth the effort. She spares you a gentle nod. She leans forward, and even though she smiles, her voice is close to whisper. I wonder, why are you here? What pushes someone to becoming a Roadwarden? I can lie about all the other, motivations, but I want to retire early in prosperity and safety. Ah, the life of a white bread and mead. Though, even though richer city folk invest and work one way or another, you can't eat coins. You catch a hint of mockery in her titter, and you need more than a lock to protect yourself from envy and greed. For a moment she observes your palfrey. Maybe move to a village. It's easy to keep thieves away. Do you need my assistance? Alright, I need to bring her some juicy rumours. So can I now go to the fucking druids? They will let me talk to the druids. Elpis, I'm coming. This time, the tall druid gives you an encouraging nod. Even though he remains on a bench, he's huge. He would do well to guard at a city alehouse. I walk farther south to the spot where the new building is being built. You approach the building site. The stone foundations are finished and the timber frame is jointed together with a set of intriguing cuts, like a large toy. One day, their walls will be whitewashed with limestone and turned into a prestigious shelter, unlike the houses made of logs and boards. The other buildings are surrounded by grass, flowers and herbs. The turmoil of village life is drowned out by the sound of the creek, but the knocking of a hammer shatters the tranquility. The builders give you a curious look from above the log they're cutting. I walk past them and go to the druids. You're welcomed by 8 elders, gathered in a small circle, watching your steps closely. They're not as large as the workers, and their clothes are far from humble. Instead of hemp pants or tunics, they wear colourful robes and dresses made of wool. They vary in style, length, and embellishment, separating them from the outfits of monks. You spot belts and cords, sandals and closed shoes. One person is bald, one has silver hair long enough to cover her back like a cape. Most of the druids are clean and rested, though one is a bit of a sloven, with uncombed hair, stained clothes, and dusty feet. Also, unlike the priests of Hovland, their hands are marked by scars, hard skin, old burns, and missing fingers. Still in silence, a woman with a staff steps forward. I take a closer look. Her grey robe is decorated with a brown thread that portrays leaves, tree branches, and birds. She's over 50, but the youngest one of them all. Her back is straight, the grey hair is only an inch long. She doesn't need a walking stick. Her weapon is smooth, longer than she is tall. Her blue eyes are vigilant and keenly observe your face. Alright, it's Blue Eyes White Monk then. As if in search of a venom in your nose and lips. Her lips are thin and small, formed in an austere line that shakes slightly, as if she's on the brink of a burst of anger. She says nothing. Hide my emotions, please. I assume you know who I am. She closes her eyes and tilts her head to the left. You listen to the creak, the hammer, and to your own breath. I didn't know who you are, she finally answers, nor why you are here. Every muscle in my shell makes me beware of a wolf, but my village believes you defend roads. She pauses and looks at your clothes and equipment. Ever though our ancestors were here for centuries, some still think they need paths, travellers, dragon rings. Your presence here is a new log for the flame of lies. For a moment her eyes seem shinier, brighter, but also hostile. You are, and will be, an outsider. We'll listen, but you'll need change us. Her words are slow and soft, as if she's tasting them. Faye thinks you should know about the plague that has fallen upon Old Pagos. You tell her what you've learned about the village gates, making her lean on her staff, touching it with her cheek. We can help with this tragedy. The people of Old Pagos are near our friends, and we'll need risk our lives for theirs. She turns towards the rest of her gathering. After the nod, she takes a deep breath. As she speaks, she looks at the ground. Travel south, to the great healer who lives in the cave, beyond the beholder. The spirit that guides us through the swamps. Only he may find a way. Alright. Thanks. Have you ever met Asterion? Nay! Seeing that you wait for more detailed answers, she taps her fingers on her staff. We had no reason to talk with him. Vice hopes to start negotiations with the Merchant Guild. What are your thoughts? She looks towards you. Looks towards your axe and clamps a hand over his staff with new strength. We are nae ones to tell our village how to act, nor how to think. If they decide to follow their mare, we'll follow. She lowers her voice and her gaze is like a storm. When a bear enters your house, you do not scream at it, nor hold the door for it to leave. You wait, or throw it a fish. But if it heads into the bed of your child, you jump on its back. Ever if all you have are your teeth. For a single heartbeat, you see a red line in her eye. Alright. I don't know if this is the point to ask what's your stance on necromancy. Tell me about your faith. She tilts her head to the right and looks directly into your eyes. What do you want to know? I'd like to hear your teachings. Give away what you can, take only what you need. From your soul, from the soil, from the fellowship of humans, you'll leave behind only ashes. Accept it and grow in peace. She ends with a kind smile. If you think 'tis nie much, you're right. If you think any soul has enough years to follow this path fully, your soul is already beset by thorns. In my home, the elders taught us the same thing, and I believe they're right. In my home, our elders taught us the same thing, and I believe they're right. Oh, that's a lie. Interesting that these options look exactly the same. In fact, they are the same. I guess that's a little bug. It's not what I've been told by my elders, but I understand where you're coming from. You know what? Let's tell the truth. She nods slowly. Each place has a different world and a different time. The ways of your ancestors were shaped to serve them, as it is with us. There are many rumours surrounding druids. Some of them portray you as cruel. Nigh one ought to speak, wisdom in every mouth they see. Her thin lips form a smirk, but her voice gets stronger. The butchers of the Unites are driven by fear, afraid to admit their old malice, to give up on their dreams of power, of comfort. They make us monsters of their tales. They want their people to look away as they hunt us. We're a mirror in the weakness. The sun to their shadow. We're the proof that they do not have to rule. Ah. Okay, let's change the topic. Two of the druids whisper to themselves in old speech, making sure you can't understand them. Honestly, see you later. Okay, so we can now talk to Elpis whenever we want, the druidess. I think we'll end this part here, because next time we're going to have to kind of, not burn a day, but, we're going to have to waste part of a day then go up to Old Foggy's, and we're going to be on the hunt. I would really like to buy something, but I've only got 1 coin right now. Actually, just before I end... interesting needs your services. Oh, do I have anything I can sell? Okay, they have nothing that they want. Okay, I was hoping just to make a little bit more money, because I would like to buy that super axe that they have, the lightweight axe, which I thought might have been bad. I've now come to the conclusion maybe the lightweight axe is good for me, because my axe right now is too heavy for me to swing it properly, so I need a lighter weight one. But we'll try and deal with that next time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next part. Goodbye.